Your voice, your music. Quality Radio.
We're still at the Clyde 50th reunion. With me just now is Paul Coia, and welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much indeed, thank you.
Right, Paul, when did you start with Radio Clyde?
Wow, I was in my first year at university, I think, second year? I can't honestly remember. But I got involved in student telly and I thought, oh, I really enjoy this. I wonder if I can do it professionally. So I sent in a demo tape to Andy Park, who was the program controller, got a letter saying, come in and see me. And I thought, this is it, Hollywood beckons. And
It wasn't.
No, God, no. He just basically said, you are so bad. How you've got the cheek to send something like that in, I've no idea. Go off and learn how to do radio. So he advised me to go to hospital radio, which I did for 6 months. Then I came back and then he gave me a gig. So it was that kind of stick and carrot, that kind of don't get too big for your boots. You're not as good as you think you are. But the carrot is, if you get better, there'll be a job. So it's a wonderful place to learn. It really was.
Yeah, and I mean, with that starting in 73 and starting really officially in 74, I mean, you weren't at the start, but you must have been listening to it as well, Paul.
Sure.
So did you get from that you could be part of that?
No. I was too young to think that was a possibility. I remember being in the car with my brothers and sisters, my mum and dad, listening to it and thinking this was the London Palladium, it was the Oscars, it was everything rolled into one, and it was happening in Glasgow. People were speaking in Glaswegian accents. Tiger Tim was using Glaswegian slang like manky and things like that, which my mum always said,
What's that?
You never use words like that. So I just thought it was a combination of the glory of Glasgow, but it was also a bit naughty because they were using words I was always told I couldn't use. So I loved it, but no, I never thought I could be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing. Maybe people originally thought, you know, the guys that started this off, that you would never be able to get on. But when you did get on, Paul, what sort of shows were you doing? Because people may have at this stage forgotten what you were actually doing on Clyde.
So I started through the night, Saturday into Sunday. Then I got Saturday into Sunday and Sunday into Monday. Then I got the rock show, which for me was huge because as a student, I wrote into Steve Jones, who was then doing the rock show. Steve left to go and do a telly chat show, so it left the rock show open. And I had been a guest on it as a kid, as a student, bringing in my records and playing it. So to be sitting there hosting it was just beyond
Just
anything.
something else. And then, of course, from Clyde, you moved on. Where did you end up eventually with this one, Paul?
Well, I started doing daytime shows on Clyde, and it must have been an absurdly stupid year, but I won Scottish Radio Personality of the Year. I presume nobody else applied.
That's wrong. We know that's wrong.
No, I genuinely.
Okay.
I think it must have been my mum writing.
Yeah,
lots
maybe
of
that's the
votes
thing that happens, yeah.
So I realised that I couldn't do any more in radio. Once you've won an award like that, if you don't win it the next year, you've kind of slipped back.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd better try telly now, because I've done a bit of telly as student at Paisley Tech and Glasgow University. And so I went to STV as an announcer. Tony Curry, who was the first voice in Radio Clyde, trained me up to be an announcer. From there, I got to do interviews on the Tea Time news show. Then they gave me my own chat show. And then the same thing again, I thought, all right, I can't do any more here. What do I do? So I moved to London, worked for Channel 4, where Andy Park was head of music at that time. And so the Clyde family is everywhere you go in broadcasting.
I think that is the biggest thing out of this, really, Paul, is that no matter where you look, there always will be some Clyde influence from the past.
Well, sure. I mean, I look around this room and I see people who are still broadcasting. I mean, right, straight in my line of sight, Martin Frizzell. Now, Martin and I worked together. Martin was in the newsroom. Well, he's now the editor of This Morning, the Holly Willoughby, Phil Schofield, all that sort of stuff. Still doing his thing. You know, and various people, as I look around the room, Billy Sloan, he's broadcasting from BBC Scotland, and various other people are still doing their thing, and I love it. I still work for the BBC down in London, and I just think it's all because of Clyde and the coaching, the training, the confidence it gave us.
And that's what it was all about, was that confidence. Paul, thanks very much for letting us know about that. Thank you.
A pleasure, and good luck with Quality Radio.
Thank you. Perfect, Paul. Thank you so much.
Quality Radio.